Hello everybody, I'm a broken robot. When it comes to pioneers of the video game industry, I think it's safe to say that Blizzard is up there in the ranking, with titles like World of Warcraft and Diablo pushing the limits of what online gaming could be. While Blizzard Entertainment as a company has received multiple black marks over the years, with things like proof of employees being paid paper-thin wages and sexual harassment cover-ups being brought to light, many gamers will still hold the company in high regards. One Reddit user in fact held the company in such high regards that they were willing to trade a piece of priceless gaming history for some Overwatch merch and a ticket to BlizzCon. Let's start at the beginning. Back in early 2017, a Reddit user only known as Chemist49 was on eBay looking for retro video game items to add to his collection. Chemist49 was an amateur video game historian and took great pride in his modest retro video game and video game memorabilia collection. One night in early 2017, Chemist was on eBay as he normally would be, up late at night hunting for deals on retro video game lots. To his luck, he actually found a cheap listing for a lot called Box of Blizzard Stuff. It had strategy guides to World of Warcraft and some early game expansion discs as well. Also, a couple of retro titles and PC gear were also included in the bundle. When the box finally arrived, Chemist was pleased with the games that he got, but what he wouldn't account for was a series of copied source code discs, with one being a bit off. A gold disc that was titled StarCraft Master Code was uncovered from the box. At first, Chemist assumed that it was just a copy of a source code disc, even with the official Blizzard logo on the left-hand side of the disc. This misconception was likely because in the early days of video game development and modding, people would make copies of video game engine and source code to help them work on other video games or to use the same lines of code for different projects. Chemist assumed that the gold disc was just another case of a source disc being copied. A few days later, after sorting the contents of his eBay haul, Chemist finally decided to check out the discs, and to his bewilderment, the StarCraft Gold Master source code disc wasn't just an official disc used by Blizzard back in 1998, but the original copy of StarCraft's code. Chemist would later post his findings on Reddit's gaming collecting sub, and the floodgate was truly opened. After the initial wave of skepticism died down, many groups and organizations wanted to get their hands on the disc or have Chemist post the contents of the disc to the wider internet. There were three main groups fighting over what should be done with the disc, while poor Chemist was forced to just sit on the sidelines and watch the fireworks despite the disc being in his own possession and not being property of the wider Reddit communities just because someone had shared their findings with the internet. The first and probably the loudest group were Reddit users begging Chemist to either send the disc to archive.org so that way its code could be firmly documented and preserved, or to simply release the code onto the wider internet so that way anyone could use the code for their video game designs and mods. I'm no expert on how game development works, but I'm pretty sure that you can't just take lines of code from an isometric 90s real-time strategy game and somehow apply it to a modern title. Regardless of its application or the practicality of having the source code, a lot of Reddit users wanted it to be preserved, documented, and shared with the public. When the story about the mysterious gold disc made its way to other platforms online, many other internet users echoed this same exact opinion. There was also a loud minority of people telling Chemist that he could potentially sell the disc for thousands of dollars. Not only was the disc a valuable piece of gaming history that collectors and gaming historians would fight tooth and nail for, but also, while there wasn't any general information shared with the wider internet, many people noted how the disc likely also had company information on it that could further inflate its value if a video game developer wanted to purchase the disc instead of a collector. While many of these users were criticized for tempting Chemist with a promise of a big cash payout, if he wanted to sell it instead of share it with the wider internet, that was technically within his full legal right. Strangely enough, the third group that was trying to appease Chemist was people from South Korea who wanted the disc to be used for developing more content for Starfield 1. That's right, there is still such a large player base in South Korea for the original Starfield game that even 25 years later, players are still looking for new ways to mod the game. While these three groups bickered in the comments section of Chemist's various Reddit posts, he would spend the next several days trying to decide what to do. He didn't really want to send the disc to archive.org since he feared legal action from Blizzard. He also didn't like the idea of selling the source disc that could potentially have company secrets on it, even if it was from 2 decades ago. Before Chemist even got to make his own decision, he was contacted directly by Blizzard Entertainment asking him to kindly return the disc that had been lost. While many on Reddit told him that thanks to the eBay sale he was technically legally allowed to hold on to the disc as his legal property even if it was lost by a company, when it was all said and done, despite an outpour of hate and beratement from the wider Reddit community, Chemist decided that he would return the disc to Blizzard, since in his own words, he wanted to do the right thing. While Chemist assumed that he had gotten a raw deal out of the entire situation, to his surprise, Blizzard offered him a copy of Overwatch and $250 worth of in-store credit for, quote, doing what was right even when it was easy to take advantage of the situation. When Chemist shared his positive interaction with Blizzard Online, many were surprised that Blizzard, a company infamous for being cutthroat and evil, were willing to give Chemist anything for being the bigger person. However, the majority of the internet were frustrated and angry with Chemist for giving up the disc to $1 million company. The following week, Chemist would report that Blizzard sent him some Diablo and Overwatch merch, along with a free ticket to BlizzCon that year, and how he felt that he'd been treated more than fairly by Blizzard's staff, considering that Blizzard was just going to destroy the disc once it was in their possession, and that they weren't required to give Chemist anything. Unfortunately, it was at this point that Chemist was thrown off the pedestal that r/game collecting had put him on, and for months he would receive hate messages, mockery, and was forced to permanently retire the Reddit account he was using due to the heat a year later. A rumor had spread across the internet that a Redditor had traded the StarCrafts source code for Overwatch merch, and while it made a funny meme, it horribly misrepresented the situation and made Chemist, who truly did the right thing, look like a bad guy when he did nothing wrong. Even people who initially supported Chemist when he first found the disc turned their backs on him, with many users claiming that he was selfish for not sharing the information with the wider internet and that he actually deserved the beratement and hate he was receiving. The South Korean StarCraft community saw returning the disc as an atrocity. Many online voiced that the community had grown exponentially in a short few weeks, and that many Korean players were eager to use the code to expand upon the original game, and saw returning the disc as an act of betrayal. No matter who you asked, everybody on Reddit and a large crowd in the wider internet saw Chemist as a corporate sellout who used his findings for his own selfish interests, while not taking the full situation into account. What I mean by not taking the full situation into account is that many people failed to realize that Blizzard likely would have pursued legal action against Chemist if he attempted to send the disc off to an archive website due to the disc having company information on it. Additionally, it's also safe to assume that if Chemist did try and sell the disc, and Blizzard found out, they would pursue legal action against him or whomever Chemist bought the disc from, making selling the disc impossible, since while he legally owned the physical disc, he didn't own the information on said disc, putting him in an awkward situation. Maybe I'm just an out-of-touch robot who spends way too much time on YouTube, but I can firmly say that Chemist didn't do anything wrong, and shame on any of you in the audience that holds a grudge against him. Chemist tried to make the most out of the situation, and after being contacted by Blizzard, he did the right thing. I don't care what you say, returning lost property is and always will be a good act of integrity. Those of you in the audience that berate Chemist for not selling the disc for a big cash payout are the ones who are selfish. Just because you stumble upon a morally questionable opportunity to make a ton of money doesn't mean that you should actually go all in. At this point, the event has been forgotten by the wider video game community, and besides the occasional meme misrepresenting Chemist in the situation, the event has fallen to the wayside. I feel like Chemist didn't deserve the hate he received from the wider internet for playing it safe, but I'm very curious as to what you guys think. Do you believe that Chemist was innocent when he returned the disc for the sake of avoiding legal entanglement, or are you in the camp of unhappy StarCraft players that wanted the disc to be available to the wider public? I'm eager to hear your guys' opinion on this situation, even if it's in the past and is now just a bit of internet trivia. And with that being said, if you've stuck around this long, please take a moment to like and subscribe. If you like this video, it lets me know that you guys want more content, and it also helps me out personally in the YouTube algorithm, so hey, thanks a bunch. Also, if you subscribe, you won't miss my future video essays, commentary videos, and reviews on whatever topic of the week has piqued my interest. I hope you all have a great day, stay safe out there, and stay cool.